Hello everybody. So today, first of all, introductions. I am Todd from Toad Painting. And my lovely assistant is my girlfriend, Kat. And so today we're going to be doing the, what's it again? The follower giveaway? Draw, something. Alright. So, more legs. No, the legs are almost done. Alright. So we're going to do the giveaway right now. And as you can see, there we go. Can you guys see that properly? A list of names. As you can tell, some people have their names multiple times because they got entered multiple times. And so you can hopefully see my random.org thing.
If I squint, I can see it.
Oh, okay, sorry. Well, as long as you guys can, like...
If you could put it in full screen, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh, I can't make those numbers.
No, like if I put Twitch in full screen.
Oh, okay. So, I guess...
You're gonna do it.
Alright, we're gonna do it right now. Ready, set, go. Number 19. There we go. Surprise, surprise.
Zulu, you are a winner.
Yes. So I guess just contact us after the stream, and we'll can figure out what your choice is. And then I guess we're gonna go back to.
Yeah, just drop us a Facebook message.
Yeah. All right. Back to the painting. So congratulations once again, Zulu. Back to this guy. All right. So, before we do this, I just want to show off some guy I just finished off today, a couple hours ago. So here's another Primarch. This is Mr. Gilliman, Robert Gilliman himself. And this guy looks a little washed out, doesn't he? Well, there's no pure black. But anyway, this is another big boy, Mr. Legs, compared to him. So I just show him off. So this is another Primarch. He's the 40k Primarch. And so yeah, this is my metallic. What?
You did a bit of him on the stream.
Yeah, I did a bit of that, but I just wanted to show off the finished product, like mainly his sword and stuff like that, which was kind of cool. I enjoyed doing his sword.
So much Space Marine recently.
Yeah.
No Space Marine for a long time though. After this.
No, it depends on what the other guy wants.
Oh, I guess there's that one.
There's a bunch of 40k stuff, but
that
yeah.
Weird librarian thing.
Maybe there's a few things.
Maybe.
All right, so this is
Anyhow.
this guy. I just want to show him off, and progress on this guy. This is I want to show some dead eyes on this guy's base, creepy demon world base. I thought that'd be kind of cool. Because it's kind of a Nurgle guy, right? I was gonna have like maybe blood or some pus dripping off of his like goggles and stuff like that. And yes, I have cut myself in my finger.
You're like actively bleeding.
And it's a scab. I mean, it's not.
You've got like liquid skin on it.
Well, it's because I'm like bending it, so it doesn't really have.
Okay.
It opens up more. Anyway.
Cut that on like the photography background.
No, I bashed it once earlier this morning, then I bashed it again in exactly the spot and actually opened it up. Anyway, so back to no more war wounds. Okay, back to this guy. If I can get this guy.
On screen the whole time. You put a band-aid?
No. It's gonna be. I won't be. I guess whatever. It's fine. I bleed for my art. All right. So today we're gonna work on his loincloth and then work his way up to his chest. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that.
And roll a wig.
Yes. Was that loud?
No, it wasn't awful.
It can be pretty bad. Alright. So, this guy's going to have like a burgundy kind of loincloth. And he's going to have a nice purple cape. And then the rest of him will be all teal scales. So, I'm working on the loincloth and then his chest. And maybe some of this part too. His fanny pack, I guess? With grenades? I don't know. I guess it should be leather as well. This part right there, but I'll probably have to do the gun. The gun is leather or is it gold?
I think you might want to zoom out like a little bit.
Yeah, give me a second. Oh, it's a green gun. I'll make it gold, I guess. Let's see now. Alright, I'm going to zoom out. At least. There we go.
That's enough, yeah, just needs to be a little bit.
Okay.
That's better.
So for the line cloth, we're going to start with some sanguine base. It's a pretty dark color.
And also, hello, Dottie.
Oh, hey Dottie, how's it going? So, I'm doing like starting with the dark color first, just because I don't want this color to be too saturated, because it's going to stand out too much if it's really high vibrancy. And it's also a very warm color, so I wanted to, be a little, not be like the center of attention. I don't want this guy's crotch to be a center of attention. That's what I'm trying to say. So that'd be a weird focal point. It's gonna be like very dark.
And we all know how much you love sanguine base.
I have a few favorite colors.
It is a really good color.
Yeah. And it has nice coverage. Well, it's because it's dark. This is okay. I'm gonna change this song. This is a little too 90s.
Elevator music?
No, it's like. Oh, sorry. Give me a second. Oh. Well.
7,000 notifications competing for your attention.
So if I do you remember how I was doing the the legs right here? I was starting with a bright color, and then I was adding darker colors. It kind of kept the vibrancy. It was very it's still no, I didn't really use very vibrant colors, but it's still the colors are still very nice and saturated. So if you do the reverse, if you do dark and build it way up, it kind of retains all the base color. So it kind of gives it a bit of a chalky feel, because you're not really using. If I start adding brighter colors, because I'm adding white to my all my burgundy colors, it desaturates because there's not much saturation in the white, right? And so basically I'm adding basically pastel colors to a thing instead of the reverse. Because when I'm doing reverse, I'm keeping the saturation no matter what. I'm basically taking a bright color, which is probably not very desaturated, this top one was not very saturated, but I'm adding more saturation as I go down. I'm adding deeper and more saturated colors. I'm doing the opposite. I'm adding brighter but less saturated colors. Because I'm brightening them up with white, which is not very high saturation. Actually has zero saturation. But I'm mixing it. If you understand what I mean. But if I want to add more saturation to it, because I don't it's too desaturated, I can always add a wash or just go back over with the one of the other colors. Okay.
And of course, if you're new to the stream, we definitely do welcome your questions.
Yes. Yes. Any questions? I don't mind taking time to answer questions, or if you want to maybe do a...
No question is stupid.
No question is stupid. Well, except for stupid questions.
No one's asked a stupid question to date, so we're good.
I mean, if you're a beginner, there's no question that's too low level, because everybody has slightly different answers. So my answer could be different from other people's, right? Might not be the right answer, but
yeah, it's more it's the right answer for you.
Yeah,
coming from your own perspective.
I'm kind of self-taught, so I do my own way kind of thing. And some people are prime black, always prime black, and I don't like prime black. I mean, it's good for certain situations, if you're doing Death Guard armies, but things like this, I like to keep, especially with the non-metallics. I like it easier. It's just better to do the brightness, because it's easy to go dark, but it's harder to go light. So that's why I start light and go dark. All right. Your new sensei's work. Am I doing a project for you? Thank you, Hazy. Okay, sorry, I'm chatting too much apparently. But I'm actually I'm actually just waiting for my my base coat to dry.
Oh, see, it works out then.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yes, mindless chatter until actual things to do, or pieces.
I do like the beginning of this color combination, though.
Well,
I like my kind of colors.
I mean, it's kind of Christmas. It's like it's like red and green, but it's like just not exact same type of hues. I'm a decent painter. I wouldn't say I'm a master, but I know a few things. But yes. I do paint very like saturated colors. I'm kind of cartoony because, well, miniatures are just caricatures of things, right? They're not like real things, so make them stylized, make them interesting. Don't make them dull and drab. It's my way of doing it. Some people do like them drab. Like some clients are like, yeah, I want to like very monotone and blah blah blah. And like, sure, I can do that, whatever. But I prefer some bright colors.
Oh, and I know we haven't talked about it on the stream yet, but I have implemented a channel currency. So when you're in here watching, chatting, you're going to be earning channel currency, and eventually you'll be able to use it for future draws and stuff.
What's the name of the channel currency?
I believe I have named it Toad Coins.
Toad Coins, okay.
If you have a better idea for our currency name, feel free to let me know.
And you may or may not get some currency off of that.
It's true.
We can have a contest. See who has the better currency name. Yes, and thank you, bot, for you can type exclamation commands to find out more. Okay. So now I'm going to start with
And it's like we're professional now.
yes. Fanciest.
Better camera clamps next week too for better angles.
Yeah. Thanks, Amazon. Hi.
But we do really, really appreciate the support we've gotten so far, and we're working hard to, improve our content, etc.
You guys have been very supportive. Thank you so much. We've not yet to ban anybody.
Except that one bot.
Okay, yeah, bots. We don't like bots. Except for you, Toad Painting Bot. You're the best. Well, as long as you like what you see, Dottie. Because I do have, well, it's a different style from most painters, because, like I said before, I like to keep it kind of cartoony, high contrast, and relatively high saturation. And so...
I have to get those pins.
Oh, yes. What?
I have to reorder the station.
Oh, yes. Okay.
They told me to do it. And I'm just talking about it right now. I just have what we got.
So you can kind of see here how like this, it's a very pink color, but it doesn't really show up as like that bright of a pink when I'm basing it on like a dark color, right? I also do a lot of layers. And so this pink is like the brightest saturated color I'm going to use, and then I'm going to start using some Saintline base, not Saintline base, the other kind of Manoth color, the Manoth white base, to highlight it a bit. But then I'm losing the saturation, but gaining the brightness. And so now it's starting to lose all its saturation right here. Rivets. I do like puns, but yes, that's pretty corny. Though, fun fact, we are in the province that has the frog that actually does say rivet. Unlike, say, someplace like Ontario, which is like middle of Canada.
Is it terrible that I like rivets?
Okay, you may have a vote from Kat.
I don't know, guys. Todd really loves puns. Like, I mean, literally his business name is Toad Painting and his name is Todd.
It's not really a pun, is it?
Well, it's just...
Is it a pun?
Yeah. I think it helps explain the whole love of puns and plays on words.
Yeah. Alright.
Oh, really? Like, no silvers left.
There's a lot of silvers.
I think I'm going for like 50 silvers this year.
Cat, it definitely is the MVP. And also the moderator, so don't piss her off or she'll ban you.
I haven't banned any people.
Yes. Just poor bot. Alright, so here, I'm kind of going to over brighten it and basically do a bunch of texture. Because I think it's like a leather cloth, like a leather loin cloth, because I don't know what else would it be. So basically I'm going to make it a bunch of like battle damage and little scratches and stuff like that. And then I'll go back over it with the sanguine highlight. And I'll kind of like bring down all the highlights I've done and kind of keep the saturation up a little bit, just in some areas. So yeah, so I'm just going to go probably a little overboard now and do it in weird spots. And then if I want, I might go back over with the sanguine base, which is a very dark color, and bring some of those places down. So I'm just going to like add scratches and stuff, a little bit to battle damage in random spots. And I'm going to do another brighter highlight too.
And also painting related, if any of our viewers are on the West Coast, we do run an annual painting competition at AttackX, which is up in Kamloops, BC, and that is in September. So if you are on the West Coast and looking for a new painting competition to try out, we would love to see you there.
Yeah. Take any and all entries of all skill levels. And it's always fun to have new people. Alright.
And it is an open format competition, so you get judged on your own work, not, you know, against other people's work.
Yeah. And we have lots of nice prizes and lots of just random giveaways for entries. So more entries you put in, the more chance of winning free stuff. Because the best in category and the best overall gets a prize. And last year we had like 20 or 30 just giveaways for random people who entered. So it was good. Okay.
And it's fun, and you get professional photos of your model too.
Yeah. I spend a lot of hours taking pictures of everything.
And then editing.
Yeah. Okay.
And you get a cool pin if you place in the category.
Yeah, so you get a sage brush. You get a little wizard with a brush wand. Okay.
I like amphibits too. That's also a good.
Amphibits? I see a theme here. Okay. So now I'm just going to take a little bit, if I can find it, a little bit of my Moral White, which is like the brightest white I got. Because the Mammoth White is not pure white, as you can kind of see. This is the Moral White. It's kind of creamy yellow. It's not, and I'm just going to add it to the white, and then just a few streaks. Just in places the light would hit the most. And make sure it's more of like a thin line, not like a blob like that was. A little too much. Yeah.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah. Learn from my terrible mistakes. Alright. And now I'm going to go back over it with just a very thin amount of sanguine highlight. I'm going to resaturate some of those places. Just where I want to. Just going to kind of control it. And it's going to darken and saturate it a bit more, as you can kind of see. And then it kind of fades the battle damage a bit. But it's like a very thin. Maybe just a little bit. But it retains like the brightness, like a little bit, depending on how thin you put the paint on. So you can see a bit of the battle damage far down. And I'm kind of keeping this tip point, this point there, very thin, so it's almost pure white there, or cream, I guess you might say. His leather it's kind of shiny, and so when I do shiny objects, I try and keep the saturation off. Oh, thanks. And so when it's shiny, like it's reflecting the sun, so the sun is basically just a white or a yellow, kind of a very light yellow, and so I like to keep the saturation off of that. So like that's why I kind of do like a very desaturated highlights for some of those things, just reflecting the sun. It's like a shiny object. Yeah, now let's go back to this. Because normally when you have like when it's like flesh or whatever, it has a little bit of shine because you have a little bit of sweat or whatever. But also your skin is a bit translucent, and so like light will go pass through it a little bit. Or amphibian. It's pretty good too. Anyway, so your skin is a bit translucent, so it passes through your skin and makes like your shadows a little warmer than it would be. So that's why you can see a bit of red in your skin. And so this is why it's not so warm, the shadows. I like to keep them dark. Alright, let's get some more of this stuff. And probably back over a little bit of black too. There we go. I might even go back with a little black and just do little scratches, like deeper scratches, especially in the more recessed areas. Wait for the this to dry a bit more.
Yes. I do like it.
Amphibian. Alright. Maybe we'll have a vote.
I can set the bot up to make a poll.
Yes, we could have a poll for maybe next week sometime. Okay. Yeah, let's start working on his chest, I guess. We're gonna do all this part right here now. So while that part dries, I'm just gonna do a base coat. So I'm gonna bust out my Merida's Blue, which is a tealish color, and then it's gonna be Mouth White base again.
Todd, are you wearing a Christmas shirt in
Yes.
May?
It's a Christmas shirt. It's a Dr. Zeus Christmas shirt. It's also old and it's a painting shirt, so I don't care if I get paint on it. So, don't worry guys. I know what I'm doing. Kind of. It's also the kind of weather where you have to wear a jacket, so I just cover up my Christmas shirt with my hoodie when I walk around. It's not like you guys can actually see my Christmas shirt anyway.
I can see the star on it. I was like,
It's a Grinch. It's a Grinch and like the Who's It's. It's classic. Nice epic music for this part. It's very dramatic doing the base coat.
high pressure base coat.
Well, yeah. 'Cause might end
Don't
up.
paint onto the legs.
Yeah. Actually, what is... Okay. I'm just looking at the model now. What is what? So he's got... Okay, his belt buckle, it says A for Alpharius. So he doesn't forget that he's Alpharius, I guess. Or, I guess a lot of people have belt buckles with their names on them. If you're a Primarch.
It's still better than the other guy with his name written on him.
Yeah, it's like... He's like 10 foot, like 10'6", and he's like, I better mark what my armor before somebody steals it accidentally. Because he's like, what, twice the height of anything else? Mr. Rowboat. But he has like his name on his shoulder. Actually, where is he? Yeah, it's like, let's see now. Well, it says Gilliman on his shoulder. It's like right there. Gilliman. And I think... No.
Still kind of funny.
I don't know why he has like 8 on his belt buckle. At least it's not his name, I guess. Was it the Ultramarines 8th Legion? I guess.
Someone knows the answer to that tricky question. But no.
I mean... I think the Lunar Wolves or whatever were the first, because like Mr. Horus, but like, I guess he renamed them. That's what the problem was.
I will take your word for it.
I have a kind of like a little bit. I know a little bit about the Horus Heresy because everybody in their fascination with Ultra Space Marines in general just love talking about it. Okay. So let's go back and do some black. Back to black, as they say. And do a bit of dents and stuff like that on the loincloth. Use my number 2 thin brush. I'm just gonna add a little bit of scratches. Especially in the recessed areas. You guys can kind of see that. Okay. It's a little hard to reach in here because of that spear and stuff. That's fine. Oh yes, the pan flute. Okay. And then I'm going to do a little bit of mix of sanguine and black. And just shade that more recessed areas in. I'll kind of make a few of those dents kind of disappear a bit. Since I'm doing it thin, I'll still retain some of it. So slow. Oh, sorry. Okay. Let me change out my brush. That's the wrong brush. I'm gonna ruin that tip on that one if I use it for that kind of stuff. I think I should maybe increase the brightness, because, let's see now. Alright, so let me just, before I do this, I'll check the chat. You want a D&D Warforged? So you want him to look like pure wood and pure stone, or is he gonna have like a bunch of like cloth and like trim and like, because like, well, Yeah, stone and wood both come in very many choices. So, like, I would recommend picking, like, you want like your stone or your wood to be the the focal point. So, like, do you want like your wood to be like high saturation, kind of bright, and your stone to be more drab, or do you want like the stone to be like? Also, what kind of stone do you want? Because Warforged are what, golems, aren't they? I'm not too sure. Okay, thanks for the link, Zula. He might get a credit for that.
Let's see if I know how to do that.
Okay, well, we don't have to do it right away. Yeah, he's there. Okay, so yeah, they're basically golems. Okay. Okay, so like, because it's D&D, there's so many choices for like stone and stuff like that. Because like, there's like precious rocks, which are basically stone, right? You can have like quartz, you can have like jade, you could have like many things. So like stone and wood. So what does stone and wood look like? Is it like wood frame and it's like the rest of his body's is like stone? Basically, I'd basically pick one of the, like, which one do you want? Like stone to be like the focal point and give it high saturation and kind of bright, and then the wood would be drab and maybe dark, or the opposite. The world?
Like the world it's set in. It's like cobblestone.
Is this guy made out of cobblestone? Is he like a street golem? Was he like some like no, I'm not gonna say anything. No, I meant like as in, okay, I'll continue my thought. Basically like a homeless mage who like made a street golem to protect him when he's panhandling.
The idea is it's like a gray granite sort of, you know.
But like, it's like if it's like cobblestones are like a very uniform kind of like rounded rock. I just don't know how that's gonna be like how would you incorporate it into a golem?
Why don't you use the stone type?
Stone type. Well, if you have like a picture of, if you send me a picture of like what he would look like, I can kind of help you with that. But I basically pick like either the stone. So the stone's gonna be like gray and like uninteresting. I'd make the wood be like maybe like a warm color, like a rose or like something like that. And so like have that part stand out, make it interesting. Hell, you can even have like living wood or have like little pieces of like flowers or moss. Actually, I'd put the moss. If I was just doing like, have the wood being like warm and kind of saturated, and the stone be drab, then have like a little bit of gray or a little bit of green moss or whatever you want. But that really, it is like, it's like a fantasy world, so you can have like anything you want. It'd be kind of cool if you had like a stones with like veins of like metal, precious metals or whatever you wanted through it. Okay. Let's go some pure black and just work on the inseam. The problem with D&D, you might have too many choices for what you want. Too many options.
I think to summarize your advice there, you're saying pick like a desaturated, more drab stone color, and then add your interest in with the wood and then some details.
Yeah, it's always good to have like a very like saturated kind of like focal point area, and then have like a trim or something that's small that's not like very bright, and have it just like a neutral color. So like stone is, well, stone and wood could also be very neutral, but like I'd pick either stone or the wood to be neutral, and then the other one you be like the focal point.
You can post a link to the picture. We don't have links blocked in the chat.
Yeah, just don't, make sure it's not terrible. Because with miniatures you want the face to be the focal point, and if it's like very drab and like you have this kilt, the kilt's probably going to be like the most focal point. So you don't really want his crotch to be that. So you like give him like glowing eyes and stuff. Alright, I think let's just do a little bit of highlighting right here before I go and start saturating it up. So here I'm just lightening up the places where the light's hitting it the most, and so when I do the shading, I'm doing a thin shade, and so to retain the lightness of some of the lightness of the lower base coat. That's why I'm lighting it up here, and then it'll retain the brightness of the base coat and also the saturation of the shade. So that's why I'm doing this. Okay. Yeah, but you have like one was stone and the other one was steel, right? One was stone wood and the other one was steel. I'm just curious, like, how the stone wood's gonna work, because this guy's steel and wood. Let's see.
So I think Dottie wants to paint it so it looks like it's stone and wood.
Well, it wasn't. You said there was two, wasn't there?
No.
I remember there was two.
There's not two. You're just making that up.
Okay, so he's stone, wood, and metal, you're saying? Sorry? Okay. Well, there's no, like, wood texture on this guy, so... on this Hero Forge one. So... I would probably I don't know if you need the stone aspect of it, because, like, sure, maybe like part of like his lore and stuff like that, but it may be hard to introduce it. It may make it look a little too busy, especially with all like the leather elements to it. So I basically have like, I maybe try like wood for like the inner parts, and then have the metal as like that kind of the outer casing. So like he's got like his face, I'd probably make that metal, but the back part of his head I'd probably make that wood, and like his chest part, like his two pec areas, I may make that metal, but then maybe his like ab area wood kind of thing. Because like if you start adding like the other color, the stone in there, it might be just a little too much. Because you're gonna be adding like depends how texture you're gonna make the wood, right? Because wood can be a very, very busy looking, and then you have the very like metal. Depends on how much contrast you put in metal. I like to put a lot of contrast in my metal because, you know, I like to do extreme shading. Because I don't really see a good spot for stone, because stone's normally like a little more blunt, a little more like less detailed kind of thing, and it looks like wood, mostly metal panels to me, this guy. And he's got like what, leather gloves on with a bit of trim. Okay. Yeah. But if you really want the stone in there, just let me know. Cause like, oh, for his gloves, because he's got like, so he's a map maker, right? Whatever, cartographer. Because like it depends on what kind of leather you're gonna give him. Because like you could go for like a warm wood and then like a bronze, and he's very warm looking. Then you might want to go for like a cooler looking cloth. So like a blues or greens or whatever you want. Like give him like a green canvas backpack and stuff like that, like a forest green kind of. Might be interesting. But he'd make him look like almost like a ranger at that point. But and then maybe make him like, yeah. It all depends on what you want. I'd try and go for a theme or something like that you like. Like what colors? Basically, see that huge gem in his forehead? I'd basically figure out what kind of color the gem, and then you work your way down from that. Because like that's the focal point right there. His face and his eyes. Because his eyes are probably gonna have the same kind of glow effect as his gem, right? Because it's kind of powering him. So it's the same kind of energy. So I'd figure out what kind of color you want your gem, and then you work your way down. Because like if your gem's warm, I'd go for cooler colors. If it's cool, then go for warmer colors on his body. Because it'll stand out more and be more interesting looking. Purple. Purple can be both cool and warm. It really depends on what kind of shade and hue of purple. Because purple there's no like real set definition of purple. Because some people say, "Oh, this is purple," and it's actually like a magenta or. So, if you could send me a link of what kind of purple you want.
Link to the hex color you like.
Yeah. Because.
Or the pot of paint.
Yeah, because like yellow and purple, I think one of the weird border colors, which can be both warm and cool at the same time, depending on what other colors look like. Because if yellow is like surrounded by warm colors, it looks cool, and same with purple kind of thing, and vice versa. So if it's surrounded by cool colors, it looks warmer, etc., etc. So I'd kind of recommend like more of a primary color for like those kind of things, blues or yellows or greens.
Green is not a primary color.
I know, but like purple is kind of like it's more of a tertiary color. There's primary, secondary, and tertiary colors.
I know, but purple's definitely a secondary color.
I know, but it's like green is more of a cool color. It's like a more defined. It's like definitely a cool color, while purple is more of a undefined.
And today we all learned that Todd doesn't really like purple.
I like purple. It's to me it's not like a focal point color though, because I normally do purple very dark, and so it's like it's more of a secondary color. It's not really a. It's basically not really a color that really draws the eye, is what I'm saying. At least to me. You can paint it differently, but.
I mean, if you were painting it like more towards magenta.
Yeah, that's because it's more of a defined, like warm kind of color, right? And that actually attracts the eye, kind of.
Well, I think we're also kind of talking about like how saturated of a purple we're talking about.
Okay, if you're doing a gem, you want it as saturated as possible. Like, that's like what kind of gems and precious stones are not very saturated besides like opals?
The ones people don't use in jewelry.
Yeah, it's like, and also, I kind of think that the gems is like as a light source because it's like being powered. It's like basically having energy flowing through it. So you have like it's basically like a light source. Source of light, so you just want to have it nice and bright but also saturated, because a white light in the center of the face is going to look like nothing. It's going to look like make it just look like what is that? But basically, if you go for a cool color, you'd maybe want to have the face to have like a metal plate, like a steel plate. Sorry, if you're having a cool color on like the gem, I'd go for like a warm, like bronze or gold or whatever. And then if you're having a warm gem, I'd have cool like steel or silver for like your face plate.
In my own land of personal taste, I think that miniature would look really cool with like bronze or gold and then like a green gem.
Yeah, because gem is...
And then like quite a cool wood, like birch or pine kind of inside.
A very neutral. Yeah, because the gold is very warm and it's very saturated. And so that's basically only your focal point parts, and then you have your like neutral, which is the birch, which doesn't really draw your eye. Because if you have too many things drawing your eye, like if everything's like all super saturated and whatever, it just makes it look busy. I'd recommend all of his glow and gems so they have the same kind of color. Just it makes it look more neat. Yes, less busy because busy.
Just because also these are such small pieces. Unlike on a bigger piece where you could have like multiple points of interest. When it's like as tall as your finger, your eye can only differentiate so many things from the average viewing distance.
Yeah, it's like comparing like this guy, which is like pretty big. He's got lots of different colors to this guy. It's like, well, I'm doing green and brown on this guy, and then black and gray for like neutral colors. Like, because he's like half the size of this bad boy, and so he's got so many different colors going on him. But like, yeah, just comparing the two, because your Warforged guy is like what, this size? I don't have it. No, I don't have any. I'm not doing any Hero Forged this week. Next week I might have some Hero Forged. But yeah.
Next week there's definitely Hero Forged.
Yeah.
Not to get stuck in customs.
Yeah.
Please let it not get stuck in customs.
Okay, now we're doing some coal black. Oh, am I going coal black? Yeah, let's do some coal black. Actually, coal black mixed with some exile blue. Actually, I think I went blue first, then coal black. I always forget this part. What's next step?
Yeah, especially if you're picking one of the shorter Hero Forge bodies, you definitely want to simplify the focal points.
Yeah, don't have too many.
I think one of the challenges with D&D miniatures especially people who have gotten like custom digital art or traditional art done for them, it's kind of a different process interpreting that art piece onto a miniature.
Yeah, because you have so much backstory and history with this miniature, and like you want to try and add that to a miniature, and the miniature is what, just under 2 inches, and like it doesn't translate as well as like an art which you can zoom in and have it like big as you want, really. So it just, unfortunately, you have to simplify things, and less is more for the most part, right? You don't want to be like that man covered in buckles and like gems and jewels, because like it's not going to translate well. So like, unless you're like me, like a potion seller, I wouldn't really recommend like those kind of things unless you're like only have potions on yourself. But if you're equipped with like,
then that's still picking like a focal point. That's
yeah,
like part of the story.
But if you're like an archer with like, I have a quiver, I have all these arrows on me, I've got these daggers, I got these potions, I've got this cloak, and then it's like, well, you might want to cut a couple of those things. Like if you're an archer, stick with like the quiver and stuff like that. But like the potions and all your pouches of like, if you have like a woodland animal with like, I need to feed them rabbit pellets, maybe you don't need that. Unless you have like a rabbit on your base that you have like you're feeding him. It'd be kind of cool pose. Feeding your pet familiar. Actually, I don't know. I haven't played D&D, so I don't know if the familiars and stuff like that have their own miniatures, or they just like got
I think
invisible.
there's so many systems you can make whatever you want,
Yeah, it's
however
true.
you want.
That's true. So.
Maybe we'll paint some sweet D&D canitars on the stream when they get
Oh
here.
yeah. We have canitars already.
I
But yes,
think
the
there's some really
Kickstarter.
cool ones coming.
Yes.
And we do have that special one they made just for us too in the blue.
The blue?
Yeah, remember we have the corgi cast in a completely different resin that only we have?
Oh, cool. We're special.
I guess they were playing around with colored resin, and yeah, we're the only people that have one that was like a production picture. Because remember they sponsored Sagebrush.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then
They gave us a
stuff kind of like got a little sideways, and then they sent us that as a thank you.
cool. Okay. That was a while ago.
Oops, that was last year.
Yeah. Okay, let's just.
I do like how this guy's going. I didn't think I'd like this miniature.
Well, he's quite busy, but like, he's actually not too many colors. That's the good thing about him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's very busy, but he's got like there's very few colors around him, so it makes him look less. He actually has more focal points that way.
Well, I mean, the Space Marine aesthetic isn't really my thing.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of giant shoulder pads, but I'm an Tyranid player. I like minids. Give me mini arms. Mini arms.
Or a bust.
Mini arms or mini. You're on the lips and chains, aren't you? Spiky bits. You don't like spiky bits though. It hurts you. Okay.
I mean, I've assembled enough Blood Bowl orcs for several lifetimes.
Yes, Blood Bowl orcs, them big spiky dudes. Okay.
For anyone who hasn't had the privilege of assembling those, they're like a push fit kit, so you snap them together, but the only places you can push on them are sharp,
So yeah.
so it digs into you.
And
There was definitely blood, sweat, and tears assembling those.
yeah, and we assembled 25 of them.
No, I assembled so many more than
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Remember I made a mistake and had to do a whole nother box?
Yeah, so 36 basically. I did assemble some. I assembled like 6 for you.
No, you did resin ones, which were not as bad.
No. I remember I did.
Oh, okay, yeah, you
Yeah,
did a few of them.
I did a few, and then I got busy with other things, mainly painting. Okay. Oh,
Have a good night, Dottie. We hope to see you back again.
thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a good night, and maybe see you again tomorrow.
We stream at 6 p.m. tomorrow.
Yeah, so an hour later than what we're doing today. Okay.
Although I will mention we are also definitely open to suggestions for other times on Friday, or replacing that Friday with a different day that would work better for other people.
Yeah. Okay, so.
'Cause we're just finding that a lot of people who are normally around aren't around on that Friday stream.
Yeah. Because we're on the West Coast side right now, so it's probably a little too late for some people on the East Coast.
Yeah, in general, if there's like, you know, a day where you'd really love to see a stream, we're open to hearing for that.
Alright. See you around. Thanks for watching.
I think you should paint more things Meridia's blue. Just in general. I'm a fan of this color. Not
well-
on him, I'm just talking about in general.
Marie's blue is it's very saturated,
Mm.
and like nothing really has that much like saturation in blue form. Like, it just, I like it, but it's just hard to, like, what would you put on it? It's a very like, it's kind of like a
It
like
belongs in something very high fantasy.
it reminds me of like blue from like WoW. Like I can see WoW people because they a lot of like silver armor and they have like these long flowing cloaks and like they'd be good in that kind of style. But like so very paladin-esque. But like for most other kind of like fighters and warriors, it's like because you wouldn't do it in like a modern military. It's like shoot me now
It
color.
has to be high fantasy.
Yeah.
Okay, I also kind of think would be really interesting is like an orc or goblin skin with like a really pink blushed elbow and nose.
Maybe. I don't really.
Just spitballing.
Yeah. I don't really. It's just too saturated for even for like a skin tone. It's
I
like
don't know, I'm thinking
it's
where
too
you-
fake. That's the problem with it. Like there's nothing like it's good for like flowers and like fake like artificial like colors and cloth and stuff like that. But like it's just very saturated and very teal. You could maybe like water like a really
Well, you know
clean
that,
water.
The Age of Sigmar army with the fish cloak.
The fish. Oh, the fish elves. I don't know what they're called. Look at my black here. I'm getting distracted.
Sorry, I'm on a tangent today. Apparently.
I know, that's fine. I'm just trying to find a black wash for the recesses. Okay.
Not me. I don't have it over here.
No, I have lots of wash bottles and they're not really color coded yet, so I need to. Takes a while to find it.
And then I'm distracting you with my
Color choices, yes.
blue musings.
Yes, your love of Murda's Blue. I think it's the
You're
third
kind of
time.
off screen right now.
Oh, sorry. I got the cat to guide me, and apparently I'm ignoring
Might need
it.
to zoom out a little bit again. That's okay.
Is it?
It's just because the chest is kind of big.
Is
Yeah,
it?
and your focus is a little funny.
Is it right now? Okay.
You are welcome to contact us pretty much literally at any time via Facebook, as long as it's not like 4 in the morning.
Yeah. How about?
But like, let's say like 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Perfect, great.
How's this looking for like the focus and stuff like that? I zoomed out a little bit. You want more? Think?
No, but I think that's enough. You were just getting a little confused.
I just think the maybe the contrast is.
It's hard to see much of him as white still. Oh, that looks good there. Oh, no.
That?
Yeah, that's nice.
Just the black and the white are not like.
Yeah. Until you have the color on that upper part, I think it's still going to be a little funny.
I can change the exposure. Oh, it's actually probably a little better. The white just is overpowering, but let's see now. Is that looking better?
Is there an in-between, or do you only have like those two?
That's 8 and that's 7, unfortunately. Yeah.
I guess I like 7 better than 8.
So you want the brighter color. I can tone down the contrast, maybe. But it's more of what the color is. Though that, let's turn down the saturation, maybe. Now scales are harder to see, aren't they?
Yeah, it's kind of like a battle of you're going to get one thing really well, but not the other thing. Because right now the scale on those legs, like especially the lower legs, look quite good.
Well, they're dark. How's this? I'm just...
No, pretty good for me.
Okay, maybe I'll just try that. That's
I
worked
think
good for you there.
yellow, but just roll with it.
So yellow? That white looks pretty white to me, but...
Well, like I'm looking at your hand.
My hand? My hand's a little more pinker, I think. I don't know.
It
Depends on the angle, right?
It's good enough for this moment, I think.
Okay. So let's add more black. Whatever I was doing. I was doing something with black. I'm gonna go back and just re-highlight some of those scales. Kind of refine them better. Okay. With my Meredith blue and my mouth white base. And then I'll go back and darken some stuff up.
Okay, I swear this song comes on every time.
Should I turn this song off?
No, I think it's fine. I feel like I notice the music every time this song comes on. I'm like, oh, it's back.
Is it noticeably bad or just...
No, it's just, I don't know what about it attracts my attention, but it's something.
Maybe it's the choir.
I wonder if it just reminds me of something and that's why it's...
Is it a bad thing?
But no, I'm just commenting. Talking for the sake of talking. Distracting from what you're doing.
Yes. It's always more difficult when you're trying to talk and paint at the same time. Especially when I'm licking brushes.
I'm just preparing you, okay?
For what?
I don't know, getting used to like the talk and paint.
Well, no, if you're doing like a, what do you call it again? A class. I think you're talking and, I guess, depends on the kind of class. Need some pure Menoth white.
I do not think you've mentioned a single time during your stream today what kind of paint to use and why.
What? Oh, I'm using Primarch press paints because they're non-toxic and I like to lick my brush. So I'd also not like to have heavy metal poisoning. So there's a lot of other paints are kind of non-toxic, but
Not to put it in your mouth.
Yeah, like you can accidentally ingest it. Well, Primarch press are meant for true brush blending, which uses a lot of saliva, which just has incidental paint consumption. So it's meant for the true brush blending, which is what I'm kind of doing. Get some of this.
Although I have read the new Chimera colors, they're an Italian company. It's the same thing, you can two brush blend with them. And they've actually posted their ingredients, and it does look like it's also cosmetic grade pigments. So same thing.
That's cool.
Always good to have more paints that are actually non-toxic for ingestion.
See now. Few bits of the dark blue kind of got where it shouldn't have, so I'm not trying to correct that. It's a little too dark in some areas, kind of ruins the gradient feel. I was distracted by things. I'm just trying to correct my mistakes. I'm also running out of my Menoth white. I'm also running out of space on my palette. Many problems. Alright. Pretty terrible at using my palette space though.
partially because you're using such a small area.
Maybe just so real. Well, I guess I've used this for more than a year, so it's not that new. That palette, wet palettes. But for many years, I didn't use wet palettes. Also, for many years, I wasn't really doing this kind of detail work. I was just doing mass armies, and so I was just using up my paint really fast. So, but now I'm doing less models, but higher quality. Like this dude.
Yeah, you made a real transition from painting like large groups to more singles in the past like 2-ish years.
Yeah.
Although a couple armies this year on the schedule.
Oh god. Yeah. And I also did like 2 Space Marine armies in like the end of last year.
I find it really weird that you have like no War Machine scheduled for the rest of this whole year.
I used to do a lot of War Machine in Malifaux. Now it's like now people have hit me with all the Warhammer stuff. Well, good to change it up. Nothing wrong with Warhammer. Just different style, really.
I think you'll probably see more Malifaux again once Mark III launches.
Yeah, it's a great game. I played it. It's good. Gremlins for life, yo. It's always fun when you kill yourself and your opponent at the same time.
And lots of cool models.
Yes. They have some pretty amazing character and their miniatures. Alright. Individual scales, the fun. Maybe a little brighter. I'm gonna take some mixing medium and try and do a bit of a wash with that dark blue. It's Exile blue. This will help go in the crevices and stuff. It also gives you more time to blend with it because it slows down the drying process.
And for people unfamiliar with what mixing medium is, it's essentially acrylic paint with no pigment.
Yeah, so you add your own pigment to it. So I'm just adding a paint to it. Normal paint. I'm not too worried about this part right here, just because it's kind of hidden by a lot of things, so it's not really a focal point, so doesn't have to be exact right there. This part though is very open, so it's like gotta make sure that's perfect. Let me just check. What color is this chest plate thing? Oh, it's all silver there. Alright, I just was painting things I didn't actually need to paint. Now I need to change things. It's like this bottom part's silver, but the top part is the teal color. I need to adjust things now. Okay, I think it's, let's see, it's almost time for the trim. Some non-metallic parts.
Starting to get relatively close on him.
What was that?
Starting to get relatively close on him. I feel like after tonight you're kind of at the halfway point.
Yeah, well, those backpack and those arms of me.
The backpack's kind of crazy.
Yeah, that thing is, well, he's like a Hydra guy, right? So, he's got like 4 dragon heads, which are going to be like gold, I think, and then same with these shoulder pads and stuff like that. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess then the 7th dragon head is, or the Hydra head is up here, so he's got all 7, just like in the Greek
They're
myth.
on the cloak, too.
Yeah, well, they're just like trim, so I'm doing this purple with like maybe a white trim. I'll have to double check what he wants. Alright, now I think it's time for the grays and stuff. Let me just fix his belt.
So allow me to say how many bubbles I filled in that backpack.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of detail, so it's all Forge World, so. We do our own resin casting too for our own products, and we know that bubbles are sometimes unavoidable, but definitely annoying. Especially when it's like really, really scaly like that. Alright. I'm going to give up on the scales for right now, and I'll come back to them after I've done some more metals. So let's get a new palette, and we're going to do some gray. A lot of gray. Like a lot of gray. Let me just clean my brushes first. Make sure they're not going to get ruined. And then we're going to do some... Basically consists of 3 colors. Gray coat gray, which is the gray, obviously. But it's got a nice bit of blue to it. As you can kind of see, it separates. But it's nice to have a bit of like blue or some other kind of... Give it some kind of character. Because like a straight gray is kind of not great. And people like to do blue just because like it reflects like the sky, right? So most skies are blue. And then good old mouth, more white, and some more black. Okay. So I'll make basically 5 different tones, I guess, of this gray. Okay. I'm just going to start with a base coat of gray coat gray. And then I'm going to start doing some highlights. So, actually, let's go back to the picture so I don't screw up on the trim. What's going to be what? So he's got a belt with his initial on it. And then this is all silver here. That makes the whole part silver. And then this is also silver too. I think even his pipes here are silver, so let's just do that. Can't forget the trim here. Unfortunately, it's a little annoying because some of his scales overlap the trim, so it makes it a little annoying to do sometimes. I don't think I'm going to work on this part right here. I'm going to do that part when I do the head. This collar part. It's just be too annoying to do without doing around the head first. So I won't be doing that. This part I'm going to use a smaller brush. My number 4 is a little too bulky. I'm going to go for a slender number 2 brush. Oh, and of course, some say I overpaint a bit. Okay. I'll go back to the area. Let me just wait for it to dry before I add some gray to it. A little hard to see probably in the camera. Also the trim. Lots of overlapping pieces blocking the camera.
Don't think there's too much you can do to help that though.
Yeah. I mean, I guess paint them in pieces, but I hate doing that. The worst part is like putting it together after you've painted it separately. Let's also work on this part too. I'm gonna overpaint there. I think that's basically all the trim. It's all blocked out now. I think it's time for a bit of black ink. Really help with the chains and stuff like that. Let's do a few highlights first. Rather crude and just very fast highlights. And then I'll apply the black wash. That might be okay. Kind of experimenting here to see if it's going to work. It all depends on how firm the detail is, how sharp it is on the chain part. If it's soft, the wash is going to ruin a lot of the stuff. So, but if it's not too soft, feels like it's not too soft, it'll just go in the cracks easier. really show off the chains. But could also get obliterated too. Alright, let's do the wash. So it's just an armor wash. It's basically a black. I think it has just a tiny hint of brown in it, but only when it gets really thin. If you just put... But for all intents and purposes, it's basically black. Black wash. Okay, am I off camera? Alright. Thanks for watching, Zulu. And congratulations on the win.
Have a good night.
Yeah, have a good one. Seems like the wash is doing pretty good. You guys can see that well. It's also probably a little hard to see because it's all shiny and the light's directly on it. It's kind of destroys what kind of detail I've got going so far on the chain and stuff. I don't want this to pull too much in the scales area. Room grading does that go on. And very thin. I just want a bit of a dark black border between the metal and the scales. Can't really slop it on like I usually do. Normally I would water it down a bit with some mixing medium and just go to town and just slap it everywhere, but I think that's high quality. Being very careful and very delicately just applying it. There's so many things I can ruin accidentally by accidental brush stroke or letting things pool where they shouldn't pool. Can't forget his belt. Okay. Just even out some of these wash parts. I'll start some highlighting. Yeah, that was way too much ink there. And it pools in places I don't want it to pool. Okay. Got most of the trim now going. Darken up some more areas where the light wouldn't be hitting as much because his arms kind of here is covering up the chain here. It's supposed to be brighter than this side, right? So it's supposed to be brightest to like dark, and then brightest to the darkest over here. It's like to be very dark over here because it was his arm and his body, and then even his staff is blocking light a bit. A little bit of trim on this here, just between the scales. Gotta make sure I do it now, because if I do it after I've done all the highlighting, I'll darken it. I don't want that. It'll ruin the highlighting I've done in that area. Okay, maybe. Maybe it's almost there. Just a lot of trim. And slow and steady, especially for this kind of model. Also might go back and brighten or darken some areas around his scales. Alright. Let's clean out my brush because the ink gets everywhere. And not knock over the model. Okay. Let's go to a lighter gray and start working on some of this chain. A little bit of overpaint there. It's a little hard to see. Actually, okay. I'm gonna go and just take a black paint and just make sure all the chains have a good black border between them. Nice and clear. The wash doesn't always work because it depends on the details, right? Sometimes details a little soft in some areas. Okay. Especially in the more visible areas, I'm going to make sure it's got a well-defined border. Okay. Back to the lighter gray. And a little blue tack on that place. On his shoulder and his arm, because I'm putting my finger there a lot. I'm just going to rub away all the primer, so I'm just going to catch a bit of blue tack. So, this helps with the rubbing. So be careful with blue tack. Depending how sticky it is, it might start removing paint. But on primer, it should be just fine. I mean, if it removes primer, then well, might have problems because that might be a terrible primer.
There's a problem with your primer?
Yeah. I think some of his chain links are actually they vary in scale. Like some look smaller and bigger than ones beside them, which is a little weird. Alright, let's double check how it painted and see. Oh, that's... yeah, never mind. I'm not going to follow what they did on Forge World. Some parts of the Forge World paint job is good, some parts are lacking. Oops. Bit of overpaint there. I'm just going to focus on the chain. I'll do all the... because it's quite different from the rest of the trim, so I'm going to do the chain all together in one go. Oh, this is annoying because of this stupid spear and stuff, but at least this part's going to require very little highlighting. It's because it's so dark, so I'm just going to do like one highlight here. Compared to like the other parts, which are more visible.
Like a good advertisement for model holders, though.
Well, I
flip it upside down.
I do with all my models, even without a model holder. It's always fun when you're doing like a colossal or something huge. You start flipping it around. And you accidentally poke yourself in the eye from like a wing or something. I was doing Denny 3 and I almost like...
I'm waiting for the Dragon King poking.
Yeah, those wing tips are pretty annoying.
They're out there.
Yeah, but with Denny 3 I almost got my eye twice. She has to make bone. It's like a bone dragon thing she's on and just... a little dangerous.
Hobby injuries.
Well, yeah, I've nearly slit my wrist basically from a hobby knife.
And by nearly you mean you definitely slit your wrist and it was definitely a trip to the hospital.
Well, yes, but it wasn't like an artery. I missed my artery and my tendon, so I didn't. It caught my computer.
The nurse was really impressed.
Yeah, it was like in between. It was like let's go back to the camera. Like, let's see, where's the scar? It's right there.
Just careful with that because it can be grabbed by the self-harm sensor stuff.
Yeah. Oh, is it? Well, so basically, my artery is right here, and my tendon was like right there, and so I impaled myself with like a hobby knife. So it's very small, but like it's very deep. And so yeah, it was a new blade too. So I got a little bit of like a, what do you call it again? Like a divide symbol, because like you can see the two scars on either side where the stitch went in. But yeah, that was definitely a very lucky, or unlucky, you might say. But end result is nothing really bad happened. Besides
No, that was really lucky. That could have been career-ending.
Yeah, because tendons, when they get cut, they don't really come back the same way.
Yeah, you would not have had that fine motor control anymore.
Yeah, well, okay, it's a tendon right here, so it'd be like, yeah, it'd be these two fingers, my pointer finger and my middle finger. So yeah, basically my two dominant finger, or my two main fingers on my dominant hand. It should not be good. Yeah, definitely be careful with your hobby knives because they're small and sharp, and you might forget where they are, and things will happen. I'm going to take a little break and grab some water and rest my eyes for a second.
15 minutes.
Yeah. And maybe stretch. Especially harsh on the eyes when you're doing very minute details like this. So it's always good. Important to stretch yourself and your eyes. Like look away from like an object for like 30 seconds, like a really far away, like 10 meters or so. It's like 30 feet. Let your eyes focus on it for a little bit, because you're like focusing within the feet of my eyes right now, so it kind of strains them. So just be careful of things like that. Annoyingly, the wash made it really shiny, so it's kind of hard to see exactly what it is with all my lights right here. Okay. Do a little bit of pure light. Oh, pure white, not pure light. Just a few spots.
Seeing difference?
I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom. I'll do a little bit on this guy, but I'm not going to go all the way to the bottom of the chain for this part. Let's see. Yeah, it's not bad. I might even go back with a bit of black paint, and just do a very thin, just over top. I'll just darken it a bit on the far chain. Okay, I think that chain. Oh, you guys can. Yeah, too close. Yeah. If I zoom out with the camera, you can probably see it better if I push it model in. But for the most part, I'll take a picture of this tonight anyway, so you guys can kind of see it better. All right, let's work my way up. Let's do his belt. Let's see. Let's do his belt and his rib part right here. So I'm not going to do this part right now. Do this part and then his belt. Let's double check. They really put a really bright spot on his belt, but it obviously wouldn't have that much light hitting it because of just how things are. So I won't really do that. Is it a chain on the crosses? It certainly is something. Yeah, I'm not going to do that part yet.
That part's for another day?
Probably. Don't want to strain my eyes too much right now. They're a little sore apparently. A lot of little finicky detail, which is great for straining your eyes in this guy. I'm not going to push it.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, you're coming up on the end of the session, so...
Yeah. 2 hours is long enough.
Especially on something that detailed.
Yeah. Also that finicky too. A little more pressure than saying a lower quality miniature. Where a few mistakes don't really matter. This guy, he is extra fancy. Call him Fancy Pants.
Fancy scale?
Fancy scale. Yeah, maybe. And since it does a weird little whoop here, I'm gonna give it more of a highlight here. Basically, any time it really changes direction, I like to put a little bit of highlight on it, because it's probably catching other light. This silver, or basically non-metallic, basically trying to have it reflect all different types of light sources. So like from the main light source, which is probably the sun, which is probably coming like this direction, to like reflecting off of like the ground or even other metallic parts in the model itself. So the main direction is basically coming from like this direction. So like one like line coming like this basically. Okay. Let's do a bit more. I forgot his belt, didn't I? Important. This guy's name on it, or his initial.
His big A?
Yeah. Big A guy.
Just a little bit scarlet lettery.
Sure. I don't think I've read the Scarlet Letter or watched any movie adaptation of it.
They pin an A to her because she's an adulterer.
Oh, it's like branding a person like P for like pirate, or cutting off their hand, marking them. Okay, so some pure white and just do a few little points. Are you saying this guy's an adulterer?
No, it's just an interesting letter to see to yourself.
Well, he's Alpha Legion. He's
the A-team?
the Chaos, or whatever they are. I don't know if people actually know what they are. Apparently, these guys might be even loyalists. Well, I think the Alpha Legion has been branded Chaos or heretics, but this guy is also, he's a 30k miniature, so this is before they're all like mutated and chaosy. Except for the fucking like world.
So is 30k before the heresy?
It's actually at the heresy.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it's like the people who have like, like proclaimed the loyalty to Chaos are like still like basically like normal Space Marines. So it's like, so everything is like, nothing's like really, like there's still demons and stuff like that, but not like mutated humans and stuff like that. At least not to the same extent as they are now, because like except for like say like the word bearers and stuff like that, they're not like mutated, but like they're still like frothing at the mouth kind of thing. They're like still like basically rabid. They've always been rabid, but like now they're like I don't know. They're just angry people. I think a Primarch was like chained to like the short bus for a while. He wasn't really sane. And since all the Space Marines have the gene of their Primarchs, they basically take after him, no matter what the personality was before. And so, if you are not so psycho, but you join the Word Bearers or World Leaders, you become a psycho to some extent. He was like locked in like their capital ship, just like kill whoever came close to him, including his friendly guys. He was like a mad dog. I don't know. I don't know if he lived, because a few of the Primarchs died. Like, spoiler alert, Sanguarius and Horus himself. And then a few others killed each other and stuff like that, but...
Isn't there a miniature for Sanguinius? In like 40k?
30k? Yes, all the Primarchs are alive in 30k. Apparently this guy actually died. Well... I
thought he was a 40k miniature.
No.
Okay.
I mean, they could do whatever they want with the fluff, but like... in the original term, the Horus himself, the War Master, murdered him in front of the Emperor. And then the Emperor's like, no, my favorite son. Because he had like 40 sons. And the Chaos God's just like, nope, they're mine now.
This book was definitely written in the 80s.
Was it the Red period? I forget.
I think you can call it the Red period.
Well, no, but like, it was like the time where they painted everything red, no matter what army it was. Like, everything had a little bit of red to it, or a lot of red. Like, orcs and goblins were very red, chaos was very red, things like the other guys were red, like Blood Angels, oh my god, red. I think that's the time where the red went faster was the thing. That's why the orcs were amazing.
Fred always goes faster. I know that part.
Yes, he used to play orcs. I don't know if that's still.
I don't think I ever played a single game with orcs. I just hate some orcs, though.
Yes. Tell them what your fashion sense was like. What kind of orcs were they?
Every orc was different, and they had things like leopard printed pants or flame pants.
Flame pants.
Somewhere out there, someone owns them. I did sell them off quite a few years ago.
Yes. Okay, I think that's.
You good for the night?
I'm just thinking of any to lighten some parts up.
I'll find somewhere to go and visit.
Yeah, you can find that. I'm just gonna maybe improve things. It's all about just touching the right spot at the right time. Figure out what I want. Might be a little too dark in some areas, but it's hard to tell a little bit. I gotta trim up or clean up all that little bit of that area, but because it's supposed to be burgundy, the red, the cloth over here, but it's all grayed out because of my sloppiness. But I'm not gonna care about that until after I've finished all the non-metallics around here. Let's give him a bit of a streak of like light from something else hitting right there. Okay, I think. What do you guys think?
I still like him.
Yeah, okay, let me just change up the view and stuff like that. Because I can. And then I'll change up the focus. Maybe look a little better once it's. How's that looking? Is that looking better?
It's about the same. It's nice though.
Is it really? Oh, it's up the, let's see now. Zoom all the way out. I've always found a little grainy when the camera actually zooms in. How's that? Okay. color's a bit off, but you can see all the detail and stuff. Oh, let's get the blue tag off.
Them all.
Yeah. It's always good to important to just tack it a bit more so it doesn't. And the blue tacks there. Well, thanks, Wrought by Vulcan.
Okay, so we're gonna raid.
Yeah,
we're gonna go see UC, who is working on some Blackstone Fortress Beastmen.
Cool. I do like Beastmen.
And we will be back tomorrow at 6.
Yes. Alright, hope you guys see you guys then. We're working on this guy some more. Alright. Thanks for watching, guys, and hope to see you tomorrow.
Have a good night, everyone.
Okay. Alright. Have a good night.
And Raw.
Have I had dinner yet? What was dinner? Was dinner the drink?
Huh?
Was dinner the drink?
Pardon?
Was dinner the drink? The
Was-
drink? No, we didn't have dinner yet, have we?
No.
But we had a nice little milkshake or whatever. Alright. Oops. Take a picture of this guy.
Oh, that was a good stream.
Yeah, no, as long as the two guys were talking.
People.
Yeah.
Your lowest was like 5.
No, at the end it was 4, but yeah.
No, I sent 7 people over, so there's people watching.
Really?
on those two
No.
channels. Yep, you rated with 7.